everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today's topic is setting boundaries with your family without guilt. Setting boundaries with your family without any guilt. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, to get us started, I did pull a short video. Let's watch this video, and we have a letter. Then we're going to dive right into this topic. Setting boundaries with your family without guilt. Here we go.
I used to always hear things like, well, that's your brother, so that means you have to do this. Like you feel this sense of guilt when you don't move a certain way, when you don't do things a certain way, or you don't allow people to move a certain way with you. You feel this sense of guilt because, that's your cousin, that's your grandma, that's, but at the end of the day, it's not actually healthy for you. It's not good for you. So I just felt like, because I already didn't have good boundaries around me growing up, I knew that having some had to bring something better.
Okay.
So I didn't see anybody making like a hard stop. Like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. But I was that person like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And I didn't let their responses to me affect me. So I had to go for a while with some silence, a fewer phone calls.
All right, let's dive into this letter. She says, I am tired of being the go-to person for everyone in my family. Whenever someone needs money, a place to stay, a babysitter, I'm always there for them. I have let my cousin and her kids stay with me rent-free in my house for 2 years after she has got evicted and lost her job. After she has got evicted and lost her job. I felt bad for her because she was a single mother going through hard times. I have also lent my brother money, but he partially pays me back. And whenever he pays me back, it's in installments. Don't you hate that? I had a friend one time, he always wanted to pay you back in installments. So I stopped lending him money. No, not a bank. I also babysit whenever he needs a babysitter. Whenever someone needs a ride, I'm the first person in the family to get a call. They do offer me gas money, but the money is $20 or less, and then they want to ride all day. Oh, I understand. Which is not enough to fill up my tank. Recently, when I was stranded and needed a jump for my battery, I had to call a tow truck to my house because nobody was there to help me. I am tired of being the go-to person for everyone's problems, but I do not have anyone else to help me. Well, you still don't, whether you help them or not. You already said that they're not there to help you. So no matter what you do, it's not going to solicit them to be there for you. It's not about that. It's about them. And they are used to you being that person who does not say no. Growing up, I used to be that person. Just like you. Every time somebody needed anything, I was the person that they come to because I had a problem saying no to people, period. If people were in need of something and I could help, I would go way out of my way trying to serve these people. And family is even more difficult to say no to, especially if your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, they need something, you have it. It's hard to say no. But if they make it a habit of asking, you must set up some boundaries. You must learn to say no. And I tell you, a favorite of mine is don't answer the phone. When they call, you know they're not calling to give you something. They're coming because they need something. So don't answer the phone. Now, if they were people that were generous to you, then be generous to them. You see, I have people who were generous to me when I was in need. And if they're in need now, I'll be generous to them. Okay? But there are certain people in your family that will take advantage of you when they know that you have a difficulty saying no. And it doesn't matter to them whether you have it or not. What matters to them is just getting it. Whatever they need is just getting it. And that's very selfish. And when they do that, they are actually taking advantage of you. Now, in the letter, your brother, he's borrowing money from you. He know he's not going to pay you all that money back. And they want to pay you in installments, so maybe you'll forget if they paid you all of it or not, because their intent is not. Once they get what they need, a lot of times they'll forget about you. They'll forget about giving it back to you until they need you again. And then they'll give you some excuse, or they'll give you a part of it because they're getting ready to hit you again. Now, when you see this pattern in family members who are coming to you for support over and over and over again, you need to cut it off. And if you are a person who has a difficulty telling them no to their face, like I said, don't answer the phone. Don't answer the phone. And if they came to you and asked you, just say, no, I'm not able to do that right now. Or no, I'm not able to do it, period. And let it be, you can say it in that softer way rather than saying no, because people won't understand it since you've been saying yes all this time. They won't understand when all of a sudden now you're saying no. But if you say, well, no, I'm not able to do that right now, they can take that a whole lot easier. All right. But it's very important for you to set up boundaries. Now, I had a little information here. It says the truth is that you are doing more harm than good to yourself when you don't set up these boundaries. You're doing more harm to yourself because you are supporting these people, and you may not even have enough to support yourself, but you will give to people because you have an issue with saying no. I know I've done it. I've given when I hardly had anything to give. But if somebody came and I had a piece of bread and they were hungry, I'd give them either the whole bread or part of the bread. I was like that, you see. But when these people keep coming back to drain you, it's a pattern. No. Now it's time to cut it off. All right. Setting boundaries is a good thing because it protects you from being taken advantage of. And when people cross your boundaries, they are taking advantage of you. You don't want that. So it's important for you to set up these boundaries with your family. So it'll be hard for some of your family members when you start setting up boundaries, okay? Telling them, no, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. That's why I say it's easy, just don't answer the phone. But if you find that you want to tell them face to face, some of them, they're going to get angry. They're going to fuss about it and say that you think you all this and you selfish and why you want to treat your family like this and put a guilt trip on you. Make you feel guilty for not helping them. That's why, I wouldn't try to confront them because that's what they'll put on you. And after a while, you'll start feeling some kind of way if you're not strong enough in your conviction. You see, they put their guilt and shame on you and tell you all the things that they did for you, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and they're your only brother, your only sister, how can you say no? Things like that. That's guilt. No. When you set a boundary, be steadfast in that boundary, and don't come back and change from that. Be steadfast in it, and eventually they'll get the message. And you should be in control of who you want to help and support. You should be totally in control of that, and not doing it out of obligation, and not doing it because you feel guilty by not doing it. You give because you want to give, and it should always be that way. But when you feel like people are taking advantage of you, then it's time to cut it off. Cut it off. Set up a boundary with these people. Let's see this. A boundary is the invisible line that separates two people. Boundaries put distance between your needs, feelings, and responsibilities, and the responsibility of others. That's what a boundary is. It puts a separation between your responsibility and their responsibility. And their responsibility is not your responsibility. And they need to know that. Okay, because a lot of people who cross these boundaries, they try to make their responsibilities your problem. And that's why you feel like you're going to support it to fix it. Don't feel that way. When you don't let people know what's acceptable and what isn't, they will automatically jump to the conclusion that you're all right with it. That's right. So these people who you have been supporting all this time, if you haven't told them or cut them off, they're going to continue. So if somebody's been asking you for a ride, like the lady in the letter, every time they need a ride, they're going to ask you because you have not set up that boundary. No, I can't afford to drive you all over. It costs a certain amount of money. Give them a fee. All right, that will cover your gas or whatever. That's if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, say, I'm sorry, I can't do it right now. I'm sorry, I'm not available. I can't do it. And walk away. But if you decide to do it, give them a fee. Okay? And then if they want the ride, they'll give you the money up front. Up front. You don't need the money Saturday, and they need the ride Monday. This Monday, and then they're going to pay you on Saturday. A lot of people that I'll pay you Saturday. Yeah, no. They can pay you just like they would pay the taxi. And that's why they don't call a taxi, because they don't want to pay. And so they feel like they can give you $1 or $2 to take them wherever. I remember this young girl who asked me for a ride to the airport, which was about 40 miles away, something like that. And she was like in the family, and she said, oh, well, I'll give you $20 to take me to the airport. Well, I said, okay, I didn't really need the $20, and $20 wasn't going to cover it anyway. But I said, okay, well, I took her to the airport and everything, and then we had to wait a while. It just got to be really more of a headache than it should have been. And needless to say, I never saw the $20. But that's how family will do you. Family would do you like that. But in hindsight, if she ever asked me for anything else, I'm done. It's over. I learned from that she's not a reliable, responsible person. And she is one just who takes advantage of other people. So I would never support her or help her again. And I don't have any guilt about it either. And you shouldn't if people are continuing to take advantage of you. And boundaries show others that you value yourself. Now think about that. When you set boundaries and you tell people no, They're going to think before they just approach you and ask you for support that they should have been able to handle themselves. They're gonna think about it first. In fact, you may be the last person that they ask when you value yourself, because you have that aura. Don't come to me with no nonsense. This is the kind of energy that you'll be putting out. When before, especially if you are an empathic person and you're caring about people, and you empathize with people and you feel their emotions and you feel when they're hurting and when they're in need. Those are empaths. And people can read that energy, that you are there to help, that you have that supporting energy, and they will take advantage of that. So if you're an empath, you have to be doubly strong in setting boundaries to protect yourself. And all of this does add value to yourself. People see you differently, and they will treat you differently when you have strong boundaries. I hope that you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. The topic of today is setting boundaries with family members without guilt. You got to love yourself. You got to value yourself and not allow family members to take advantage of you. And they will, if you're the type of person who is a natural giving person. If that's in your energy, the naturally giving person, you're putting out that aura. Giving. And people can read that. And that's why they come to you anytime they need something. But you need to have very strict boundaries that you don't allow them to cross. That they don't always come to you when they need money. They don't always come to you when they need a place to stay. They don't always come to you when they need a ride. They don't always come to you when they need anything. These are strong boundaries that you need to put up with family members. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for supporting this channel. Now, if anyone has a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.